Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with my non-existing uploading schedule. We're back with some GCW. In this episode, we're going to be booking two shows of, seeing the results of GCW Fuel from the 3rd week of October, GCW Fuel from the 4th week of October, and the result from Halloween Hell. Let's get straight into today's show. Starting us off, we've got Jesse Ventura in the ring, and he has Sting's letter. I don't know if you remember, it's been a while. Last week, Sting appeared and gave Jesse Ventura a letter. Now, Jesse still hasn't opened it, but he has it. And he says that he's going to open it next week. But tonight, Mike Awesome, who, with Disco Inferno, wants to challenge against Big Show and Ken Shamrock for the tag title. So tonight, Mike Awesome will be facing off against Ken Shamrock in a one-on-one singles match, with Dustin Rhodes as the special guest referee. That's it. Then we go to Mark Marrow versus Mortis, and Mortis gets the victory in 8:25 with a flatliner. Marrow gets a 55, Mortis with a 64, gets a 67. Afterwards, however, we got Mortis and Wrath and the Sinister Minister cutting a promo, and they end up beating down Mark Marrow, so gets a 60. We've got a TV title match next, DDP versus Scotty Riggs. And DDP gets the victory in 8:07 by pinfall with a diamond cutter. During the match, we also had Chris Candido distract DDP, so their feud is still ongoing. Chris Candido cuts a promo. If he beats DDP, maybe they'll let him back into the Syndicate, because the Syndicate wanted DDP because he's the TV champion. Well, now Chris Candido's thinking, hey, if I win the TV title, maybe they'll let me back in. So that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to get back into the Syndicate. D'Lo Brown versus Kama Mustafa, and Kama gets the victory in 8 minutes by pinfall with a corner body splash, what will become the Ho Train later on. D'Lo with a 54, Kama with a 46, a 58. Alright, we're backstage with Jesse Ventura, the leader of the Syndicate, the owner of GCW, and he's with Dustin Rhodes, the referee for the Syndicate at the moment. And he tells Dustin, if Mike Awesome wins tonight, you're fired. So that's it. Plain as day. Clear as day. We know what's going on. Great wrestling. Didn't have much heat. Next up, we've got this triple threat match. Lance Storm gets a victory over Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Fit Finlay in 10 minutes. When Lance Storm defeated Fit Finlay with a surprise roll-up. Maybe Lance Storm trying to reclaim his glory days of a few years ago when he was Intercontinental Champion and dominating that mid-card scene. 73. We got a Mankind promo with the Flock coming out. And Perry Saturn, the leader of the Flock, is now the Diamond Ring holder. And so just so we say, he now has the Ring of Saturn in his possession. It's the only reason I did that tournament, just for that pun. And Mankind versus Perry Saturn is official for Halloween Hell. And it will be a street fight. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but that's what it's going to be. 94. We've got Farouk Assad versus Rocky Maivia, and in 4:31, by stoppage, Farouk defeats Rocky. So they have great chemistry. It's good to see. Farouk with an 81, Rocky with a 64, has a 78. Next up, we've got a Brian Pillman versus Steve Austin promo. These two are facing off at Halloween Hell for the GCW World Heavyweight Championship. And Pillman versus Austin, they're cutting a promo on each other, and it comes down to them saying, at Halloween Hell, we're going to have not just a singles match, we're going to have a Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, that's it. 100, and in our main event, Ken Shamrock gets a victory over Mike Awesome in 13 minutes. I know it doesn't say, but Dustin Rhodes did fast count. He was the referee for this match, and he fast counted Mike Awesome, so Ken Shamrock gets the victory. They have pretty good chemistry. That's good to know. Shamrock with an 89, and Mike Awesome with a 75. Gets an 80 as we end the show with an 87, improving our popularity in 16 regions. Alright. And that was the final broadcast for Saturday Night's Wrestling as well. Saturday Night's Wrestling is officially behind us. I'm tired of booking B shows. So, yeah, that's it. Fuel's still going strong, though. And I also have GCW Rise, which I just made for no reason. It was originally going to be like a cruiserweight show or something like that, but I don't have the roster for that. Speaking of which, I'm going to keep you on board for a moment. I'm going to hire some guys because I always have an easier time booking a roster that's bigger, and with 47 active wrestlers on the roster, I definitely can, but I like having a lot of lower card guys, and right now the lower card guys we have, I kind of want to push to mid card, so we're gonna have to look for some wrestlers to hire. So let's check the short list. So Barry Buchanan, we could bring in for the developmental territory. Bob Orton. I'm thinking of Bob Orton, but he's going to be pushed to the main event scene, and I don't really want Bob Orton at the main event scene yet. But I do want him eventually, because I want to have Randy Orton eventually as well. We could bring in Bryan Adams again. Christopher Daniels, Dan Severn, Don Callis, Dwayne Gill, Glenn Jacobs. He's a freelancer, so not going to happen. Hellraiser, also known as The Wall in WCW. Jamie Noble, not really yet. I'm thinking of bringing him back, Jeff Farmer. So let's get him on a written deal for 6 months. Jerry Flynn. We're going to bring him back, Jerry Flynn, for 6 months. Yeah, I got Kenta Kobashi on the short list. I could bring him in. Kevin Nash, I do want to bring back in because I have a plan for him. So I'm going to give him to a 1-year deal. Could bring in Marty Jannetty. Yay, drugs. Let's bring him back in. We're gonna do 3 months for Marty Jannetty. Hopefully he's not high the whole time. Rhino, Ricky Chushu, Kojima, Waltman. I do need cruiserweight, so I might bring in back Waltman, Taz, Tony Norris. All right, I'm gonna do some more hirings, and then I'll come back and we'll see the next show, GCW Fuel. Alright, let's get into the second fuel of today's episode. We're starting off with Jesse Ventura. He announces Dustin Rhodes as the special referee for the Austin Pillman match this Sunday. Next up, we've got Tom Zenk versus Hammer. And Zenk is a one-night appearance. Hammer is a new signing, returning to GCW under a new gimmick. He was previously known as Major Stash in the Armed Forces stable. Well, now he's back. He's just Hammer, and he gets the victory with a flashback following interference from Perry Saturn. And afterwards, Perry Saturn welcomes him to the flock. So we've got a newest member of the flock in Hammer. Jerry Lynn versus Justin Credible's up next. Credible gets the victory. So the flock going strong tonight so far. And gets the victory in 10 minutes. 70. We've got a Chavo Guerrero promo. He talking about the same thing. He wants Eddie Guerrero to forgive him. He'll do anything, blah, blah, blah. Chris Jericho comes out talking some shit, and it comes down to them having a match at Halloween Hell. So this Sunday, Chavo versus Chris Jericho in a singles match. Then we've got Marcus Bagwell versus Mike Enos. And Marcus Bagwell gets the victory in 4:15 with a blockbuster. Bagwell with a 65, Enos with a 15. So Enos signing just for jobber status. Not much to say. Marcus Bagwell, we're still trying to give him a push. And he's getting better in the ring, so it's coming up. 60. We're backstage with Farouk, and he attacks Rocky Maivia. These two are going to be facing off once again at Halloween Hell in a singles match, so gets an 85. Booker T gets a victory over Jerry Flynn, a new hire as well, returning to GCW. 328 with a Harlem Hangover. Gets a 59. We're in the ring with Ken Shamrock, The Big Show, Johnny Valiant, and out come Disco Inferno and Mike Awesome. These two teams will be facing off at Halloween Hell for the GCW World Tag Team Championships. Alright, 70. We've got a tag team match. Mankind and DDP get the victory over Perry Saturn and Chris Candido when Mankind defeated Chris Candido with a submission with a mandible claw. DDP with a 69, Mankind with an 85, Chris Candido with a 77, and Perry Saturn with an 86. 84. And then we've got Ventura backstage with Dustin Rhodes. Tells him the same thing he said last week. If Austin loses at Halloween Hell, you're fired. And that's it. Mark Mero versus Wrath is up next, and Wrath does get the victory in 5:25 with a powerbomb. And I've got a little special thing coming out for Wrath, Mortis, and the Sinister Minister, so stay tuned for that. They're getting a push real soon. Gets a 60. Then we've got Ventura hesitating to read the letter, which he promised he would. But it's okay, because J.J. Dillon comes out, and he's going to read the letter for Jesse Ventura, because he's a nice guy like that. And it says, real simply, at Revolution, Steve Austin, you're falling. And that letter is from Sting, which means that at Revolution, Sting wants Steve Austin. Who gets a 100. Then we've got Pillman versus Big Show, and he gets the victory in 13 minutes by countout. And afterwards, Steve Austin comes out, hits the stunner on Pillman, perhaps trying to weaken Pillman before their match this Sunday. And I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll have to wait and see. Gets an 89, improving our popularity in 16 regions. Alright, so next show is going to be Halloween Hell, so let's get straight into that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We are here at Halloween Hell 1995. Here's the card for tonight. We're going to have a handicap match, Mark Mero versus Mortis and Wrath. We're going to have Rocky Maivia taking on Farouk Assad. Diamond Dallas Page defends the television championship against Chris Candido. Chavo Guerrero faces off against Chris Jericho. Mike Awesome and Disco Inferno challenge Ken Shamrock and The Big Show for the World Tag Team Championships. Mankind then faces off against the Intercontinental Champion Perry Saturn in an Intercontinental title street fight match. And in our main event, Brian Pillman versus Steve Austin for the World Heavyweight Championship in Hell in a Cell with Dustin Rhodes as the special guest referee. So let's start off GCW Halloween Hell. We're starting off with Jesse Ventura in the ring, and he's cutting a promo on tonight's matches, how Austin's going to win, how Showrock's going to win, the generic stuff. And J.J. Dillon comes out, and he welcomes back to GCW Kevin Nash, making his return tonight. And Ventura is livid. So gets a 100. And next up, we have the handicap match, Mero versus Mortis and Wrath. And of course, Mortis and Wrath get the victory. Mortis with a 72. Good job, Chris Canyon. Gets a 62. Next up, we've got Rocky Maivia versus Farouk Assad. And surprisingly, Rocky Maivia gets the victory with a fast roll-up. Good job, Rocky. Pulling out all the stops tonight. But afterwards, Farouk Assad beats down Rocky Maivia, so it looks like this feud isn't quite over. We've got the television championship match up next, Diamond Dallas Page versus Chris Candido, and DDP retains the television championship with a diamond cutter. 82, 77, 81, not bad. Chavo Guerrero versus Chris Jericho is up next, and Chavo gets the victory with a Tornado DDT, getting the upset victory over Chris Jericho. Alright, next up, we've got Mike Awesome and Disco Inferno challenging Showrock for the World Tag Team Championships. In a 75, Mike Awesome and Disco Inferno defeat Ken Shamrock and The Big Show in 1333 when Mike Awesome defeated The Big Show with an awesome bomb, getting him up. But during the match, we also saw the return of Al Snow. The suspended Al Snow came in and attacked both Ken Shamrock and The Big Show, which allowed Mike Awesome and Disco Inferno to get the victory and the tag team championships. So, the Syndicate still having problems with Al Snow. Alright, next up is the street fight for the Intercontinental Championship. Superb Wrestling Great Heat, Mankind defeats Perry Saturn in 1724 with a pile driver. Mankind is once again the Intercontinental Championship. 88 is once again the Intercontinental Champion. 88 to 85 gets an 81. Yeah. Ventura joins commentary because next up is our main event matchup. Brian Pillman, Steve Austin. This has been a long time coming. The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. These two have had one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history at this point. Hell in a Cell. Dustin Rhodes is the special referee. Let's see what's going to happen. Despite not clicking, still pulling in 92. Exceptional match. Brian Pillman defeats Steve Austin in a Hell in a Cell. It wasn't by submission, but we'll say it's by pinfall. After Dustin Rhodes screwed Steve Austin, Pillman wins the GCW World Championship, gets a 92, and we get a 90. Increased our popularity in 15 regions. Brian Pillman, Steve Austin, and Mankind. So Brian Pillman ends Halloween Hell as the world champion. And Steve Austin is pissed. He was really not happy about that. But it's okay because I gave him $20,000 before the match. So I guess he'll be happy with that. But we still made like $720,000 profit, so I'm not too worried. And Halloween Hell is now an above or average event. Good. By a rate of 0.14. And here's how we end the show. Eddie Guerrero, still the Cruiserweight Champion, wasn't featured on the card. I was going to put him as commentator for the Chavo Jericho match, but I forgot. That's fine. His little thing with Chavo is still going. Mankind's a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. DDP's still the Television Champion. Mike Awesome and Disco Inferno are the World Tag Team Champions. And Brian Pillman is a 3-time World Champion, leaving tonight. Leaving Halloween Hell with the title. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen next episode. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want more. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.